The London Knights now hold a 2-1 series lead for the J. Ross Robertson Cup over the Oshawa Generals, and it's a quick turnaround as Game 4 will take place tonight at the Tributes Community Center. So the Generals having to dig deep to quickly put last night's score behind them and try and even up the series, making it a best of 3 going forward. But still, it's quite remarkable what the London Knights have been able to do. Just one loss so far in this postseason. And one of those key contributors is Easton Cowan. And I know a lot of people are talking about him, especially Toronto Maple Leafs fans. But I did some, I was curious, who's the leading point getter right now when it comes to OHL history and playoff points? Because last night during the TSN broadcast, they mentioned that Easton Cowan is now the highest points producer in the playoffs in London Knights franchise history, passing Rob Schremp. So Easton Cowan with 92 points at the time of recording actually puts him third overall in the Ontario Hockey League. Right now, 1 point back of Stan Drulia and Wayne Gruel, former Sioux Greyhound. He leads all points with 102 in OHL history. So Easton Cowan, 10 points over the next few games, I don't think is likely, although he has been known to put up 5-point efforts during this postseason so far. So we'll have to wait and see what Easton Cowan does, but it's been remarkable what he's been able to accomplish with the London Knights, and we'll see if the Knights can get the job done in 5 games, or will the Oshawa Generals extend this season, extend the series further. I've been impressed with the way the Oshawa Generals have been playing all playoff long, and definitely a solid opponent here for the London Knights. So just wanted to touch on that as Easton Cowan making some history in the Ontario Hockey League with his 92 playoff points. The second active player on the list is Denver Barkey. He's right now sitting at 73 points in his playoff career. That puts him 25th in OHL history. Of course, Barkey out due to injury. And then you have to go down to number 36, Callum Ritchie, with 67 career playoff points. So some big names right now in the OHL final who are continuing to try and rewrite the history books in the Ontario Hockey League. Now, another player that's been rewriting the history books has been Michael Misa, and he has been named the Red Tilson Trophy winner for OHL's Most Outstanding Player of the Year, a very worthy player of that title. And this award, every team puts forward an MVP candidate to be nominated for the Red Tilson, and then accredited media get to vote on who they think should be the winner of the trophy. I was able to cast a ballot in this, and it was kind of tough deciding between Michael Misa and Nick Lardis. I remember Lardis of the Brantford Bulldogs posted 71 goals during the regular season, something that we don't see often in the Ontario Hockey League. We've seen 50 goal scorers and then the odd 60 goal scorer, but to pass the 70 goal mark, it's the first time we've seen that since John Tavares back about 20 years ago. For me, it was between Misa and Lardis, and Michael Misa, of course, getting the advantage, and he's been outstanding. 134 points during the regular season, which is the most for an under 18 player. And yeah, John Tavares also did that in his draft year before being drafted first overall by the New York Islanders in 2009. So Michael Misa in some good company. And he only had, I believe it's 5 games during the regular season where he didn't earn a point, which is just amazing what Michael Misa has been able to do. And curious to see where he goes in the NHL draft. There's some mock drafts that say he could go second overall or even third. I'm pretty sure there's some Saginaw Spirit fans that would like to see him go first overall to the New York Islanders. But still, what an amazing career Michael Misa has had at the junior hockey level. Cannot wait to see what is next for him in his hockey playing career. Now, yesterday there was some big news when it came to NCAA commitments. You'll remember back in November, there was the vote to allow CHL players to play in the NCAA. And Malcom Spence of the Erie Otters, who's a projected first-round NHL draft pick for this draft next month, he's announced his commitment to the University of Michigan. Bit of a surprise for some seeing him make this commitment, as for I think OHL fans still getting used to the idea of potentially losing players early to an NCAA commitment, such as now Malcom Spence, who's a key member of the Erie Otters. But it's a great opportunity for him because say he gets drafted in the first round and he's maybe not going to make that roster. Well, now he's got an option to play against older players with the University of Michigan, We also saw Henry Muse. He's going to be leaving the Sudbury Wolves to join the University of Michigan. So top end talent making commitments to the NCAA. We also had a couple of Barrie Colts make their commitments. Bo Jelsma going off to Providence, and Sam Hillebrand going off to the University of Ohio. It sounds like Anthony Romani is going to go to Michigan State. So some big players here announcing that they're going to be taking their talents elsewhere. There's also been rumblings about Porter Martone potentially exploring some NCAA options himself, which would be a huge loss for the Brampton Steelheads, considering that could be a player that could help them next season, or even as a trade piece to recoup assets to help in their rebuild. So right now, junior hockey, there was a lot of questions when this vote passed about how it would impact the league going forward. And I think we're starting to get even more questions because it's becoming a younger league, as you don't know how long you're going to have a player for, because until they're 18, 19, they can then go off to play NCAA hockey now if they're being given offers from some of these top universities in the United States. So Malcolm Spence, Sam Hillebrand, Anthony Romani, all players who are eligible to come back next year, now deciding that they're going to take their talents to the next level. So it's going to be fascinating to see how the league even adapts, because they were talking about aggressive expansion with the two USHL teams saying they wanted to move over to the Ontario Hockey League, being Muskegon and Youngstown. But with the way things are going right now, is expansion something that the OHL should seriously be considering if they're not going to have players for the full 5 years? It's going to affect, obviously, the overage pool, as a lot of 20-year-olds are going to be able to go off to the NCAA, even 19-year-olds. As for the Barrie Colts, their goaltending was going to look pretty solid. Sam Hillebrand, Ben Harabik, but now that Hillebrand's out, Harabik's going to be the starter, but still, GMs and owners have to navigate the unknown right now about who's staying, who's going, until some sort of some contracts are signed or agreements are reached with the CHL, NCAA, NHL, whomever is trying to figure out how this is all going to be. I know in the Western Hockey League, they have the Bantam draft where they draft 15-year-olds who could then move up. We've had exceptional status players like Michael Misa, who played in the OHL at 15. So maybe the OHL needs to look at lowering the draft. Maybe the league needs to get younger. So some big questions here, but still amazing opportunities for the players. And that's the big reason why this has been moved forward, is that, you want to give players the option. And we did see a lot of players come over from the BCHL and had NCAA commitments come back to the OHL. So it's still in flux. We'll have to wait and see how this all plays out, but still some very interesting times if you're a fan of the Ontario Hockey League and junior hockey. Another big talking point has been the Niagara IceDogs. We're still waiting for the hiring of a new general manager after the Ontario Hockey League, of course, doing that culture review, cleaning house. Ben Boudreau and his coaching staff, of course, they were let go, while Wes Consorti, he was moved to liaison for Darren DeDobler, the owner, who is not to have any contact with day-to-day operations of the Niagara IceDogs. And we're starting to get a few more names of potential GM candidates. Ryan Kennedy of the Hockey News suggesting that we could, consider George Burnett, who of course is right now at the Guelph Storm. Michael Fuda, he's got a history with the Ontario Hockey League, and then Mac Turek, who was let go by the Brantford Bulldogs. All candidates. I'm also hearing that there's another GM candidate with a team that's still in the OHL final. Marty Williamson's name has come about. So there's a lot of different names being tied to this, but it will come down to the Ontario Hockey League working with the Niagara IceDogs to decide who the next general manager will be. But it's some very interesting times with the IceDogs, and when we do get an update, I'll definitely pass it on. But DeDobler, I know in my last video I talked about, would he sell the team? But he has come out and said he has no intentions of selling the Niagara IceDogs, despite being removed from the day-to-day business and team operations with everything that's been going on with the Niagara IceDogs. It's crazy to think, too, that DeDobler's only been the owner for 3 years, and we've had all this change with this Niagara IceDogs organization. You definitely have to feel for the IceDog fans going forward. And staying in the Niagara region, just on the other side of the border, we know that the Ontario Hockey League has had talks with the city of Niagara Falls, New York, about potential expansion as they're hoping to build a brand new arena. It'd be about a 6 to 7,000 seat arena. That's the plan, but it's on some land, some parkland that is kind of contentious right now, as a developer wants to bring in a data center, which they say could bring thousands of jobs and boost the Niagara Falls economy. And a study has come out recently saying that if they move forward with the data center, that would bring 1,000 jobs to Niagara Falls, New York. And I know jobs have been a big topic of discussion for the city, as many people have been leaving Niagara Falls, New York, elsewhere for opportunities. But the mayor, he's been consistent. He wants to build this arena. So there's a plot of land. It's called it's a park space that apparently 30 years ago the city was in the process of giving the land to Niagara Falls Development, but the paperwork wasn't signed. So that's the sticking point. So the city believes the land is theirs, and the mayor wants to build the Centennial Project, whereas the developer, they think it's their land and they want to have this big project to bring in a data center. Although in the past, they've talked about building hotels on this land, they've talked about other housing developments, but have all fallen through and have never gone anywhere. And that's the argument that the mayor has had, that he wants to build an arena because it's something that would be built. That's his ultimate line. But in regards to this latest study that's saying it's going to bring millions of dollars into the local economy and thousands of jobs, Mayor Robert Restaino, he calls the projections pretty enthusiastic and an unsubstantiated set of alleged facts. So the back and forth continues between Niagara Falls, New York, and the developer Niagara Falls Development. So I know that they want to bring the OHL to their city. I know the Ontario Hockey League has wanted to put a team in New York State. So I think this debate in the public view is probably going to go on for a few more years, is just the sense I'm getting when it comes to this. Is it's being talked. We've had studies, and it's been going to the courts. The New York State Supreme Court's also been getting involved. So I think we've got a while to go before this arena project starts with any sort of shovels on the ground, if this arena project goes anywhere. So I know I've talked about it in the past, especially with my expansion videos, and I just wanted to give that update here, as that's the latest when it comes to a potential arena being built in Niagara Falls, New York. So that's how I see it from the booth. I know there's a lot of big news items that are going on right now. Just wanted to touch on it here. So again, thank you very much for your support. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you again soon.